Let's talk about sex, baby. This is a presentation by Jaden, Kat, Kaylee, and Lex. In this presentation, we will talk about the ways to approach basic sexual anatomy. Sexual anatomy is the basis of all sexual education and is important in understanding at a young age. This is a guide for parents with children in the age group of 3 to 4. And we are presenting this information under the assumption that the proper vocabulary has been used up until this point.
Basic male anatomy. First, we're going to talk about the penis, which is the root. And the root pushes the blood to the distal parts of the corpus cavernosa to help with erections. Then we have the shaft, which consists of two parts, the corpus cavernosa, which collects the blood, and then the corpus spongiosum soaks up liquid and becomes heavy. Then you have the glans, which is the tip of the penis called the frenulum. Under that is the scrotum, which is the bag of skin that holds the testicles, and the testicles produce sperm and produce testosterone. Then you have the semen when a male's penis ejaculates, which is the male productive fluid, which can fertilize the female's eggs. The basic female anatomy. We have the vulva, the mons pubis, which is the shock absorber. It cushions the pubic bone during intercourse, and it has pubic hair. You have the labia majora outer lips, which are spongy tissue under the hair, and it protects the urinary and vaginal opening. You have the labia minora inner lips, which is spongy and hairless. It also has oil glands. Sexual arousal can begin to sweat, preparing for an orgasm. And then you have the clitoris, which is the center of the erotic arousal, which is response and arousal, and the erectile tissue, which is 1 inch.
Although there have been many studies showing just how important the parent-child communication is when it comes to using these correct terms, there are still many who are hesitant. For example, just a few years ago, after a wave to incorporate the correct terms within the education system, there was a major pushback. One biology teacher used the word vagina in one of his lectures, and several parents filed complaints against him. Parents tend to share a common fear of their children losing their innocence by knowing these terms, but that is far from the case. Instead, Laura Palloum, a prevention specialist with the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, sums it up well. Teaching children the correct terminology is vital to not only their development, but their safety. Many studies have shown that although preschoolers understand what salient body parts are, such as the eyes, arm, feet, etc., they struggle knowing the anatomically correct terms for non-salient body parts. These children tend to use slang to label sexual body parts or said that they just don't know the names. Although some studies have shown that boys can name their genitalia more correctly than girls, this lack of knowledge was widespread. Researchers found no difference in anatomical knowledge between ethnic or socioeconomic statuses. One study found that if when a subset of children were taught the terms by their parents, the children learned the correct terminology for female and male genitalia. In contrast, children who were taught by their teachers only improved in their labeling of male genitalia. It's been established that parents are the most frequent source of information about sexual assault prevention. However, they tend to be uneducated themselves and lack the necessary tools to teach their children. Learning the anatomically correct terms not only promotes psychological well-being, but is also the first step in child sexual abuse prevention education.
There are many different ways that we can integrate our faith when teaching our children about sexual anatomy. A Bible verse that comes to mind is Genesis 1:24-27. God created them male and female, and this text is a great launching pad for conversations about what makes boys and girls different. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, even when he is old, he will not depart from it." This text is encouraging to parents to start from the beginning, leading their children down a good path. Ephesians 6:4 says, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger by the way you treat them. Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord." This text supports the idea of loving parenting, even if talking to them about sexual anatomy is hard. We are telling our children these things with love and kindness and with a good spirit.
Here's some of the best ways to go about different situations with your child. Going over their body parts is important. The best time to do this is typically bath time, getting dressed in the morning, or putting their PJs on at night. It's also normal for kids that age to have questions about their genitals. The simplest answer is the best. If they want more information, they'll ask for it. An example is, what are those spots on my chest? Those are nipples. Everybody has nipples. If they do anything inappropriate, don't get angry. Approach the situation calmly and say something like, "I know you're curious about your body, and we can explore that in a safe place that is our home." We hope this presentation was helpful, and these are our resources that we use to back up our research. Thank you for watching.